welcome back. Today we are going to go to Battlefield Park, Stoney Creek, Ontario, Canada for the War of 1812, the Battle of Stoney Creek. I haven't got everything on this video. I'm going to do two of them in a series here, and the second one will be the reenactment itself. This is a little tour around looking at what life was like during the war. Have a look. You're going to enjoy it. If you're a historian, if you're somewhat interested in the War of 1812, I think you're going to really enjoy this. Thank you again for watching. Remember, like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. It won't cost you a dime. I'm not going to charge you anything to hit that thumbs up or to subscribe. All right, let's go back in time to 1813. According to the War of 1812 historian right over there, that area right there was the British side at the Battle of Stoney Creek. American side was on this hill. And he confirmed all that by documentation, by going back to land registry and all the rest of that stuff. This is the British camp. The British fought on this side of what looks like a yard, and the Americans on that side. He documented all this by going back on land registry and going back that way. And he says the British, the Canadians, won the War of 1812. What do you think?
We're looking at the battlefield house here, and this is concerning the War of 1812. But it wasn't 1812 when what happened here. It was 1813, June 5th and 6th. Okay, so that was when the battle took place here. So what happened is the Americans came across at Niagara-on-the-Lake, Fort George, and they were coming this way. They got as far as Grimsby, and their intention was to go through this area, take it over, and head towards Toronto first, which was York, and then on to Montreal. That was the intentions of the Americans. They got as far as Grimsby, and two young fellas, Billy Green and Levi Green, saw them coming, so they rode up here and told all the settlers in this area the Americans are on the way. Now, the settlers in this area were from the United States, but they did not want to go back to the United States because they were given free land by the British as long as they cleared the land. So they did not want to go back. So they hid out. So as the Americans came, Billy Green and Levi Green told them in this area that they were on their way. When the Americans got here, they took over this house as their headquarters, and they put the people that lived in this house in the basement. So you'll go through the basement later on. I think there was 10 in the family, so they're all in the basement here. They captured Isaac Corman. That was Billy Green's brother-in-law. Corman Avenue in Stoney Creek is named after him. But and they took him down to where Confederation Park is now, Now that was where they brought the supplies for the American troops across the lake and deposited them there so they could feed the troops. 3,000 Americans are on their way. There's 1,100 British. The British were encamped where Dundurn Castle is now. No Dundurn Castle in those days. No Skyway Bridge in those days. So the intentions were to go around the bay. That's why the British were at Dundurn Castle, and then on to Oakville, Toronto, Montreal. So Isaac Corman's captured. Billy Green, being a young fella, about 19 years of age, knew the woods quite well. He goes looking for his brother-in-law and finds him coming home. And he says, how did you get out of the encampment? And he said, well, the major and I got talking, and we're relatives from the United States. Both had the same relatives, and because they were settlers, like I said, were from America here. So he said, you can go home. And Isaac said, well, how can I go home through the lines? He said, I'll give you the password. The password was Wilhelm William Henry Harrison. Wilhelm. That was a password. Isaac used it to get through some of the guards on the way back here. And so Billy Green meets him and said, how'd you get out? He said, I got the password. He said, hey, let's give the password to the British. And Isaac said, no, I promised I wouldn't do that. He said, give it to me and I'll give it to the British. So that's what happened. Wilhelm was the password given to Billy Green. Billy Green got on a horse, rode up to where Dundurn Castle is now, told the British what the password was. They came down through the night, Billy Green leading them, came down through the night and made a surprise attack on the Americans right here. If the Americans had kept going, we would now be the USA. So a very important battle took place here on June the 5th and 6th in 1813. Now, the monument up there was put up 100 years later. Okay, so and the money was raised by the Women's Institute and then a grant from the government. And if you go up there and go around the back of it, you'll see a sign that says Green. So that's in memory of Billy Green's part in the battle. My name is Billy Green, and I am related to the original Billy Green. And the Billy Green School on the Mountain, some of the kids go to that, is named after Billy Green. So there's your history lesson. Quick. There is a book available that's for sale down in the souvenir shop, or there's another table, I believe. It's only $5. You buy it, I'll sign it. Okay, so you just come back and I'll sign it for you, Billy Green. So that's a true story that happened over 200 years ago now. So there's your history lesson. How many knew that story? 3 of you. It is taken in history, grade 7 or 8 history, but it's skipped over very fast because the Americans...
Making like frogs like stew, they'd be making crab stew, salmon stew, because they used to be salmon in Lake Ontario until they swam away. And then this one will be the Dutch oven for baking bread and cakes. It won't be like vanilla cake or chocolate cake. It would actually be like apple gingerbread cake. For meat, they would use this artifact. It's like for rotisserie, and they would stick the rotisserie chicken on, and then it would be placed. Maybe see like the cooking fire outside and placed over there, and make the same rotisserie chicken as you have like at Chalet or at like a restaurant. It tastes really good. And then that's the owners of the home, the James and Mary Gage. They lived here over 235 years ago. They moved here, built this house in 1789. They had to make renovations because they had 10 kids and 50 grandchildren, and they're most of them are buried at the Hamilton Cemetery by Dundurn. But he actually founded Burlington, and the family were
and we understand that if we are going to talk, we must live those words as well. May we all be so bold to do so. Crossing the field now, under the command of Colonel Land, is the American forces. Don't boo them, they're friends now.